Introduction. With winning in mind. What makes a person extraordinary? A top achiever, a winner, a champion? For all of my adult life, I've been fascinated with this question as I studied how elite performers from every corner of the world become the best in their fields. Here's what I learned. Virtually all the highest achievers agree that the mental side of training is just as important as the physical side. After winning 7 Olympic gold medals, Mark Spitz said, "The difference between winning and losing is 99% psychological." Golfing legend Jack Nicklaus wrote that mental preparation is the single most critical element in peak performance. Yet outside this select group, few individuals have a specific mental strategy to improve and optimize their thinking to achieve success. While the human body has its natural limits, the mind's potential is unlimited. This has been pivotal for me. By changing my thinking, I transformed my life. And so can you. Every day, I apply what I've learned from a lifetime of discovery to create my own success, and not just financially. By doing what inspires me, I can pursue what I'm most passionate about and shape my own destiny. In this book, I share the specific mindset secrets that have made a difference not only in my performance, but also in the quality of my life. My goal is to share the key takeaways and mental techniques I've learned over the years, techniques that I've used to win, so you can put these lessons into practice in your own endeavors. We'll explore the important changes I made personally and what I found to be the key psychological traits that separate champion performers from the average person. Even more enlightening, you'll learn how to use these principles as building blocks to form the foundation of your own success. It's not just about winning. It's succeeding with the fulfillment that comes from tapping the power of passion. This is not your ordinary peak performance book. I'm not a psychologist, nor do I hold a PhD in human behavior, but I am an expert on winning and success. What I know is not based on academic theory or gleaned simply from observation. Rather, it is what I practice in my daily life. It's simply what works. This is what has allowed me to become extremely successful as judged by conventional measures, and what continues to work today. Having dedicated more than 3 decades to the study of personal growth and human excellence, I can assure you that what I'm about to share are the common threads running through every champion, regardless of background. I call them empowerment principles, which I've applied to my career, my hobbies, and every other aspect of my personal life journey. The first thing you need to know about winning is simple. If you don't have the right mindset, then your knowledge, practice, and even skills will be rendered ineffective when you need them most in the real world. The key is to develop the mindset of a winner. Your intellectual ability must be as robust as your physical ability. You need to develop a reliable way of thinking that can be applied to any endeavor to give yourself the champion's advantage. The following pages contain powerful ideas and strategies that, if applied, can help anyone become more effective and successful in business, sports, and life. By understanding how to apply these techniques and practices, you'll have a roadmap and a well-calibrated compass. As a result, you'll be more capable of performing at a high level and achieving your dreams faster than you ever imagined. The good news is that everything you need to succeed is here, right now. In fact, it's been here all along, just waiting for you to become congruent with it. This is not just about self-improvement. It's about self-discovery, because you already have the potential. It's just a matter of learning how to access and use your own personal power. The meaning of success. Early on in life, success has a certain meaning. For most, success generally means having money, possessions, and status. For me, becoming one of the best stock traders in the world obviously meant financial success. Making lots of money was definitely one of my goals, but money without a purpose isn't anything worth bragging about. My mother used to say, Money itself is just paper, good for starting a fire and keeping warm if the world comes to an end. She made me realize that its value comes from what it can provide or enable: freedom, lifestyle, job creation, philanthropy. Success is not only about winning against an opponent or performing in front of an audience, but winning inside. It's feeling accomplished and purposeful as you live the life you've always imagined. For the first half of my life, I devoted myself to becoming a winner in the financial sense. Over time, though, I learned that while money is great to have, by itself, it could never make me happy. I realized that I didn't want to just be financially successful. I wanted to be happy and fulfilled. Success is about reaching your own goal. Whether that goal is to win gold at the Olympics, be a role model to someone, or play in a local softball tournament, success is personal. I realized that if I couldn't leverage my accomplishments to somehow help others and grow spiritually, then I would achieve very little. Achieving my earlier goals led to greater, more meaningful goals. When I was a young man and first ventured into the world of high finance, my mother wished me success in a greeting card that I've kept framed on my desk ever since. It contains her best wishes, love, and the following words, which always helped me keep things in perspective. Success. To laugh often and much. To win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children. To earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends. To appreciate beauty. To find the best in others. To leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. Ralph Waldo Emerson. It's not how you start, but where you finish. When I was a small boy, I dreamed about becoming rich and successful one day. But my reality at that time was a very different story. Growing up in poverty, I watched my mother struggle and worry constantly about making ends meet. As a child, I grew up in a difficult and dangerous environment. Life was hard, and I was a scared young boy, lacking in confidence. Violence, crime, and dysfunction were all around me. My mother, realizing that I needed better surroundings, moved us into a small apartment out of the city in a rural part of the state where I made new friends and began a new life. I can remember going over to a friend's house for the first time. He lived in a middle-class neighborhood in a home with a finished basement, a 25-inch color TV, and a fireplace. Oh boy, I thought, he's rich. His home had nice furniture, and his father had a fancy office with a big green leather chair behind a glossy cherry wood desk. When I looked into the backyard, there was a pool. I was amazed that someone could live in such opulence. Later that year, my father took me with him to a meeting with his lawyer. When we walked into his office, the attorney sat back in a big green leather chair. It was tufted with brass rivets, just like the one at my friend's house in his father's office. I told myself that this must be what rich people sit in, like a throne of dignity. To me, that chair spelled success. 20 years later, when I started to have some success of my own, the first thing I did was go to a fine furniture store and spend $4,200 to buy a chair just like it. You may be saying, $4,000 for a chair? Yes, and I thoroughly enjoyed shelling out the cash for that overpriced chair because it made me feel like a winner. People say winning isn't everything. Don't kid yourself. Losing sucks. You show me a good loser, and I'll show you someone who makes losing a habit. The difference between winning and losing is not just technical ability, having the right skills and knowing what to do. It's the mental game that really separates the top performers from everyone else. Those who meet me now cannot imagine that at one time I lacked confidence and assertiveness and was unsuccessful, but that's the truth. When you grow up in an underprivileged environment, often it's conveyed to you that wealth and success are some mysterious gift reserved for a special group of individuals. I never bought into that because I always knew there was much more to life than my current circumstances. This is a story about what I did to find my place in the world and become a winner. If you're young and just starting out, your dreams are attainable regardless of where you come from or how you got your start. If you're at the stage of life where you dream about reinventing yourself, or if you've given up on your dreams, it's never too late to have higher standards. Reading this book just once may not miraculously change your life, but I can tell you that these principles have definitely changed mine. As Jim Rohn, entrepreneur and motivational speaker, said, "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day." In this book, you'll find disciplines that make winners win and dreamers reach their dreams. A journey, not a destination. I didn't start out with sound principles for success. I acquired them over a lifetime of experiences, mostly from making mistakes and learning from other people who knew things I couldn't yet see. I used these tools and tactics to elevate myself from the depths of poverty to a level of success that I once only dreamed about. Most would agree that I'm about as rags to riches as you'll find anywhere. Starting with only a few $1,000s and a meager 8th grade education, I dropped out of school at age 15. I parlayed the only things I had, a dream and the willingness to learn and persist, into a personal fortune, becoming a multimillionaire from stock trading by the age of 31. Then, in 1997, I set out to prove I was one of the best stock traders in the world. I put up $250,000 of my own hard-earned capital, money I had built up from just a few $1,000s, and entered the prestigious U.S. Investing Championship, a real money investment derby where some of the best in the business went head-to-head, trading stocks, options, and futures. The rules were simple. The investor with the biggest percentage return on his or her money after one full calendar year of trading won. 12 months later, I was crowned U.S. Investing Champion. My stock account was up 155%, turning my $250,000 into $637,500, a percentage return that beat out hundreds of the best money managers in America. Then I started my own Wall Street firm, where I was up against full-blown pedigrees, graduates of Harvard, Yale, and Princeton, with a tradition of keeping out street guys like me. Despite these barriers, I believed success was possible. And despite my lack of traditional qualifications, I became one of the most accomplished stock traders in the world. I've had the privilege to advise some of the biggest institutions in America and interesting clients all around the globe, and I've even had the honor to speak at major universities and author 3 books, all of which were bestsellers and were translated into 6 languages. Today, my coaching workshops and investment seminars attract people from all over the world who want to learn my approach to winning. Best of all, I enjoy great success doing what I love. I say this not to boast, but because my success has played a major role in how I got to be here, affording me the privilege to be in a position to do what is my ultimate purpose, to inspire others. People often ask me, how did you do it? I can assure you it wasn't because of my uniqueness as a person, natural talent, or some lucky break. It was the direct result of changing my thinking and adopting a mindset that ingrained in me a winning approach. I believe in this process so deeply, I've dedicated nearly 2 years of my life to capturing all I've learned and distilling it into this book you're holding in your hands right now. Consider the possibility that you picked up this book not by accident or coincidence, but deliberately, because you're ready to give yourself permission to pursue your dreams and follow the path you always wanted to take. And if you need an example of someone who started out with less than you have right now, here I am. If I did it, so can you. The Treasure Chest. A book is a dream you hold in your hand. Neil Gaiman. Blessings can come at the most surprising time and in the most unexpected ways. When I was 8 years old, my parents divorced, and life got desperate. My mother went on welfare, and when the food stamps ran out, we barely had enough to eat. Many nights, I would hear my mother crying in her bedroom. It was hard times, and from a young age, I knew it was not the life I wanted. My mother eventually met Dennis, a man who dreamed of success and promised her a better future. During that time, my mother was the happiest I'd ever seen her. Dennis gave her hope. I must say, he was a really nice guy, and everyone liked him, but he was never very successful. He sold American Automobile Association, or AAA memberships, door to door. Dennis used to tell me that his job was not what he wanted to do, but he was getting ready for success. He went to many self-help seminars and bought all kinds of books and tapes on self-improvement, but nothing seemed to make much of a difference. Most of the time, those books and cassette tapes just collected dust. At the time, I was unemployed and broke, but I wanted to be rich because that's what poor people dream about. One day, I saw Dennis's stack of books. I randomly picked up Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That title seemed to say it all. In that pile were many books on real estate investing, negotiating, and personal development. I thought to myself, this is a stack of how to be successful manuals. It was as if I had stumbled upon a treasure chest, and when I lifted the lid, a glowing golden light beamed out and the angels sang. I started reading day and night. I couldn't get enough. The more books I read and tapes I listened to, the more I became convinced that if these individuals could achieve success, I could too. I also came to suspect that belief was the essential difference between Dennis and me. He had plenty of examples to follow, but never really believed he could do it. That's why he never went from getting ready to actually committing and taking action. In my naivete, of course, I thought that I would make $1 million right away just from reading these books, and then I'd be like the guy on the cover of the real estate course with the Rolls Royce and the pretty girls. But I learned something far more important. There were commonalities among all the successful people in those books, a kind of recipe that winners followed. I was absolutely convinced that if I followed the same formula, I too could achieve the same or even better results. The power of the printed word. All my life, books have inspired me. When I was too poor to afford them, I went to bookstores and stood in the aisle reading. I even went into college libraries pretending to be a student to use their reference rooms and photocopied entire books for a penny a page and then stapled the pages together. I love to learn, and I'm inspired by everything I read. I always felt even a lousy book probably has one good idea in it. One thing I've learned through my own experience is that books change lives. It certainly has been the case in my own life. This is my 4th book, following 3 previous titles on how to achieve financial success in the stock market. All my books are very personal, part of a manifesto and legacy I want to give to my family and the world, especially my young daughter. I want her to know about empowering herself and living with purpose so she can live a full life and have the best chance to help make a difference in the world. I'm also sharing this knowledge with you. Like the treasure chest of books and tapes I discovered so many years ago that changed my life trajectory, I'm confident this book can make a difference in your journey through life and help you develop your own personal power. Now that I'm in my 50s, I can look back on the trail of my life and see how I approached things and accomplished my goals against what some might call insurmountable odds. I dedicated most of my waking hours to developing a strategy, a systematic approach derived from studying winners in every field, from business to Olympic champions, and applied it to everything I've ever done. My approach wasn't always as refined as it is currently, but this universal formula has worked for me time and again, whether I was fighting in competitive karate tournaments, perfecting my skills as a musician, achieving success in business, real estate, and the stock market, playing in sporting events, pursuing professional-level photography, writing books, and becoming a best-selling author, conducting live seminars and doing public speaking, or, more recently, participating in competitive pistol shooting. And I'm not done yet as I pursue the fullness of becoming a Renaissance man. You may think to yourself, wow, all these activities are so different, broad range of professions, hobbies, and other endeavors. Yes, that's true. I've learned that with the right process, you can take on just about any new challenge and become proficient in a relatively short period, but only if you take the time to apply a winning formula and build a champion mindset. Flash forward 35 years from the time I discovered Dennis's books, and I'm still reading books to inform and inspire me. My personal library contains thousands of titles. I've read them all, some countless times. This current book represents a synthesis of more than 3 decades of study, refinement, and adaptation from personal experience. The wisdom and insights have given me a great foundation and a personal strategy for achieving lasting success. My hope is that you and every other person who reads this book can discover what I now know. Just as an acorn has an oak tree in it, there's amazing potential inside you. It's only a matter of developing the right mindset. Then you, too, can ignite your inner winner and live the purposeful life you were meant to have. My first set of wings. Even though I grew up poor with many strikes against me, I was blessed to have 2 important influences in my life: my parents. Although my mother and my father in many ways demonstrated a lot of negative examples, they also gave me some important blessings, and those are the lessons I chose to tune into. My mother loved me tremendously, and my father always told me to take a shot, meaning take a chance. He never discouraged me from pursuing my passion, including quitting school at age 15 to make a record with a band playing the drums. One of my most cherished memories from my early childhood was my mother reading to me at bedtime from my 2 favorite books, Curious George and Jonathan Livingston Seagull. While I have very fond memories of both, Jonathan Livingston Seagull left an important and lasting impression. The book is a fable written by Richard Bach about a seagull who's tired of the daily life in the flock of just scrounging for food. Jonathan longs to learn about life, to truly test his wings and fly. My mother gave me a copy with a note inside. For my son, on your 8th birthday, know that you can fly as high as Jonathan did. On my daughter's 8th birthday, I gave her the same book with the same message. At that young age, I doubt I truly understood the metaphor, but now I appreciate the depth of this book's simple yet profound message. One quote in particular always stays with me. When Jonathan returns from one of his daring flights, he tells the rest of his flock what he discovered. For 1,000 years we have scrabbled after fish heads, but now we have a reason to live, to learn, to discover, to be free. Give me one chance. Let me show you what I've found. This story inspired me as I grew up and now echoes my sense of purpose. Like Jonathan, I have this need to go back to the flock, to tell the others what I discovered. I think back to the kids I grew up with, many with the same disadvantages I faced, but who never got beyond their circumstances. This book is my way of spreading the word like Jonathan Livingston Seagull to everyone else who'll listen. All of us can fly high, but it's up to us to believe in our potential. It's our choice whether to stay with the old ways that keep us scrabbling after fish heads, or to soar beyond the heights of even our wildest imagination. Sharing the music. As Nobel Prize winner Erwin Schrödinger said, "If you cannot, in the long run, tell everyone what you've been doing, your doing has been worthless." In my own way, I've tried to inspire others in seeing what is possible by sharing my story, my experience, and my pathway to success. And while I have come a very long way from where I started, my real work has only just begun. The heart of this book is giving you the tools to empower yourself and learn how to use them. With self-empowerment, you'll be able to accomplish anything you put your mind to. Not everybody reading this book wants to be a champion stock trader or win a sporting event, and maybe achieving success in business and having more money than you need are not that important to you. But whatever you wish to accomplish, you will become empowered in its pursuit if you embrace what I'm about to share and allow this winning philosophy to transform your thinking, and quite possibly, your life. The music we have inside can move people, and people can move mountains. This is the music I have to give to others, rooted in my personal story. An 8th grade dropout with just about every imaginable strike against me. I had no money, no connections, or anything other than my belief that if others were successful, I could be too. I believed in my own ability and a vision. I ventured audaciously into what was a very intimidating world to me and became a champion. More importantly, I learned one of the most valuable life lessons. Success isn't just about what you accomplish. It's about what you do with those accomplishments, because our souls are hungry for more than just victory. Our souls are hungry for meaning. This is what drives me to pursue even greater things, to inspire others, and I hope to leave this life one day knowing that even one person lived a happier, more meaningful existence simply because I was here as an example. Because when you change a life, your own life changes. All it takes is for one person to show that things can be different, that problems and obstacles are not permanent. Then the entire world can change. Once someone breaks a barrier, others believe they too can cross. That's what makes blazing a trail so important. And when someone starts with less than you have, the possibility of breaking your own barriers becomes even more convincing. In 1997, there wasn't a single female Korean golfer on the Ladies Professional Golf Association, or LPGA, tour. Then, in 1998, Seri Pak won 2 major tournaments. A new vision emerged. Suddenly, something that seemed impossible became possible. Pak inspired a generation of young women to take up golf. Today, Korean women dominate LPGA golf. Never forget that if you weren't a very important part of this life, you wouldn't be here. And no matter how overwhelming life's challenges and problems may seem, all the greatest changes start with one person with one idea. In the words of Sir Isaac Newton, "If I've seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." And I, like you, stand on the shoulders of the trailblazers before me. I know you can do much more than I have, because you have the benefit of my hard-earned knowledge and those who came before me. And while I know I can't change how someone thinks, I hope to leave my own trail of clues that will lead others to think in new, empowering ways. The beautiful composition known as the human race will go on. And while you are here, you are indeed contributing a verse. The question is, what will your verse be? This book is part of my contribution. I'm confident it will provide an example of how to elevate your awareness and bring personal power to everything you do. With whatever you set out to accomplish, there may be physical limits, but the truth is, our psychological limits are always reached first. As a starting place, know that your capabilities are limited only by your thinking, not your circumstances. With the right mindset, you can become the champion of your own life and accomplish anything you imagine. This is my guarantee.